Sometimes you meet someone so passionate about what they do, it rubs off on you. I discover this infectious energy with Marini Ramlan, more formally known as Nini. When she's not painting, you can find her developing content for a media arm. So we chat about all things Nini, the creative arts and communicating ideas.
Oh yeah, drive would be good, Nini. All right.
You studied art, right? What is visual communication?
So it's just understanding signs and symbols, which is very, very relevant and current to today's understanding.
Okay.
Illuminati and all that stuff. Yeah. So.
Did you actually you also did hands-on art as well?
Yes.
Okay.
It is, visual communications back in the day, because I can say that, it's a long time ago. Yeah. It was one of the first few art programs where it incorporated all the disciplines.
Okay.
So we had people, photographers, fashion designers, illustrators, everybody in the same group.
Okay.
I was more in the techie bit because I did time-based media.
Time-based media.
The study of concepts through the usage of time. So it can be anything like animation, websites, video, and all that stuff. As long as there's a time to it, that's what I learned. Videos mostly.
Right.
And back in the day, I wanted to do visual arts, meaning I wanted to actually come back and do MTV graphics.
Right.
That was my meaning.
Ah.
So I did videography and illustration in school.
Okay. And so in school, because you were saying that you went to Sri Cempaka after Asunta.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up in high school? Like, because you have been abroad as well, right?
Well, true. When I came back, backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
My first language was English.
Okay.
So when I came back, I had translators from the get-go. It hasn't changed.
So did your parents didn't speak to you in Malay?
Yeah, my mom insisted that we actually just go one language.
Oh,
so
wow.
to mix it, because I was picking up the slang, and my mother didn't want me to have like a
funny,
twangy thing going on. So she's very particular.
Okay.
So we stuck to one language, although I could understand Malay and all that.
Okay. No, but it's good to be able to adapt, and like swing from the one extreme to the other extreme.
True.
I think it's quite cool to be able to do that.
I could do Australian too.
Australian as well?
Right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I could do that too.
Okay. Very cool. So I can be an artist?
Yes, you can be an artist. Everyone's an artist. Well, the thing about being an artist, I think there's two people.
Yeah.
There's people who appreciate art, and then the people who make art.
Okay.
And I think both people have artistic eyes. Okay. And so the idea of art itself, it's not so much the application, it's rather than the thinking. It's like without people who appreciate art, there's no such thing. It would just be people making pictures or art pieces.
Yeah.
And there will be no like, oh my God, I see what you see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the person who will be able to relate and feel the same things that you do when you project your art out is just as important in the process. And I think a lot of people kind of like forget that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate people who don't do art but appreciate art.
That's very interesting that you say that. And then moving on, talking about, you're a woman with, I don't know whether you perceive it as wearing many caps, but to a lot of people, they might say that, you're a fashion designer, you're also business development at Media Prima, and you're also an artist and you have your own art studio. So do you look at it as three different caps, or to you is it all one and the same and you just sort of move one part of the morning to the next, but you're really always in the same state of mind?
I think the latter is more of my answer. I think I like to think of myself a creative explorer.
Okay.
I think life is about curiosity, and if I continue to be interested in doing something, whether it be work or fashion or anything like that, it's because I'm interested in it and I want to explore a certain thing about it and get that out of my system. For example, my first exhibition that happened this year in February, I had my first solo and I did a live painting session where I painted something. No, this one was in KL, in the warehouse. And I decided to do a painting, the Phoenix. And I had no idea how it's going to turn out. So I had trouble kind of like visualizing. Usually I can see the end product before I actually start doing things. But I couldn't see it. All I knew that I wanted to paint this Phoenix. I had this huge urge to paint a firebird. And so what I did is I meditated before. The day before I meditated. I know it's a bit zen kind of thing. So I meditated and visualized. And what I wanted people to do, I said to myself, I said, I'm going to paint you. And I don't know how you're going to come out, but what I want people to feel is immense warmth and presence, you know, and feel me when I do it. And I think a lot of people walked away with that because they came out and said, oh my God. And my mom, she saw the painting when I finished and she's like, it's the truest depiction of yourself. And I was like, wow, I didn't think it was going to be a self-portrait, you know. This,
wow.
And I named it She Rises. It's Phoenix rising from the ashes. It's like my take on it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people got away with, is there cash? No, yes. Okay. A lot of people got away thinking that. Yeah. So I do believe it's what you project and it's what you feel at the time, and then people will actually feel what you feel. It's quite magical actually. Yeah. Because when people say, "Hey, you know what? I felt really free when I saw that piece of painting," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted."
Have you had moments where people come back to you and say something completely different that never occurred to you?
Yes. Like, yes. And to that, I go, "Wow, I never thought of it that way," you know. So I really appreciate what people get out of it as well.
And in Malaysia, like, I mean, Malaysia per se, do you have any ideas as to how you can contribute or maybe cultivate a more conducive environment for youngsters to get into the arts, you know, to be more interested in either appreciating it or creating art?
Art has the ability to kind of like make you imaginative and make you think outside the box. And I think it's really important for people to actually practice art. Because it's not only about painting and drawing, it's about your state of mind. An artistic mind it's an organic mind. And right now in the age of information nowadays, people think in little quads, you know. And if your brain is programmed that way, then you can't think and solve problems.
So you're not expanding upon.
So with art, you can creatively and organically look at things. And so, okay, that information I want, that one I'll take away, I'll put it together, make it creative and make it my own, you know. And that's really important for now, for people to kind of like live in today's world.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for writing with me.
Thank you for this.
Thank you for rolling with me.